I think people assume there's a stigma, and I think people are actually harder on themselves than what everybody else is. Sometimes I'll say to people, especially students, that they don't, nobody talks about their financial situation. They just kind of all pretend that they're fine. But if you actually spoke with people, you'd be surprised by how many people are in the same situation that you're in. So I don't think that there's a lot of judgment out there. I think people are just hard on themselves about it.
You lose a job, if someone gets sick, or marital issues, any of those types of things can ultimately lead into issues with your finances.
People get into debt, I find, usually through no fault of their own. It's just life is full of peaks and valleys. Situations come up where you lost your job, now we have one income. Marriage situation, there's one income. Maybe you recently had a baby, you're on mat leave, lesser income. So you're laid off, but usually it's just life throws you punches, so suddenly you start living off credit cards.
So I think that's the challenge, is that everyone's situation is kind of unique, and that's the approach that I think all directors take, is that your story is unique. Let's talk about how you got here, and we'll figure out how you're going to get out of here. Because that's also part of the equation. If you can get in, then you can easily get out. And that's where we start.
People hold a lot of value in their credit rating, and sometimes when people have come in to us, they've already exhausted other efforts. They've gone to the bank to try and consolidate, and they've been turned down. Or they've tried to refinance their mortgage, but due to the new legislation, they've been turned down.
When you're seeing an expert, sometimes it's almost like we're giving people permission to make a decision that they've already thought about. But they're like, well, the last time I made a decision, it didn't work out so well, so I'm a little bit hesitant to make that kind of decision again. Instead, they come back, they can sort of soundboard that with us, and we can walk them through the pros and cons. And again, non-judgmental, we're listening for what's happening in their real life experience, and then have a bit of direction to say, you probably want to turn the car left, or maybe you want to go right. There's a cliff on that side, and navigate a bit differently. And that sometimes inspires clients to make their own decision and also take ownership of their own budgeting and their own financial approach, sometimes for the very first time.
And so I say, a credit rating is only good if you can get credit. And if you can't get credit right now, then I think right now the focus needs to be how to deal with the debt that you have. You can always rebuild your credit. It is not that tough to do once you get out of debt. The hard part is getting out of debt. And that's where we come in and can help with that.
I think the big change is the stigma attached to it. Years ago, it was embarrassing, it was shameful to file a bankruptcy, and usually you thought of people that were on social assistance, didn't want to work, those type. Today, it's like anybody can file a bankruptcy. We have professionals like doctors, we have mom and dads, we have single people, we have seniors.
First of all, there's absolutely no judgment here. We treat people with respect. They will find out that there are solutions to their situation. They are provided with a lot of information so that they can make an informed decision as to what they want to do moving forward to deal with their financial situation.
Oh, they're stressed, they're overwhelmed, they don't know where to turn, they feel lost.
Having an expert give you some new tools to work with is priceless. And that's the good thing about coming to Doyle Salewski. The cost is free.
There's so much misinformation out there on the internet especially that, it's better to talk to somebody in the profession who knows what the ins and outs are, and just so that they can, like I said, make an informed decision.
I find the difference here are the people that you meet with, our directors, our trustees. There's compassion there that you don't see in a lot of big corporations. We know this is not an easy decision. We know that you've probably exhausted all your resources, all your other options. And so we want to make sure that you come in here, you get all the information you need to make an informed decision, because it's not an easy one. And so the people here are great at keeping you informed, making you feel comfortable.
We really do want to help people. We really want to see people succeed, become more financially fit, learn, so that they don't wind up in this situation, hopefully again. But they leave here with a lot more knowledge than they had coming in, and are able to to move forward with their life and deal with their finances in a much better way.
I like meeting with the clients. I like hearing the difference that we've been able to make in their life in reducing stress and making things so much easier for them in the long run, giving them the fresh start that they really need.
They have to be comfortable with what they're doing. They have to understand the process to make their own decision as to what's going to work best for them moving forward. So we give people a lot of good information so that they can make that informed choice.
Bankruptcy or proposal is actually the beginning, because it's the beginning of something new. You've decided that continuing with what you've done up to this point hasn't worked. So that's okay. You got to recognize the numbers and say, this is not adding up.
I enjoy seeing the relief on people's faces, hearing it in their voices when they realize there is a way out of their situation. When they leave here, you can see that they're already starting to feel more confident about their financial future. And we hear a lot that they say that night they will be able to sleep, or when they come back, they'll say that they're now sleeping through the night, which they haven't been able to do for a long time.
You know, you can see the relief in them after they leave. They'll say to me, you know, that they feel so much less stress. They see that there's options, and that's really rewarding.
So bankruptcy and proposal are the beginning of a new reality for you, that you will actually have no debt in a very short period of time.
Doyle Salewski's been here for over 20 years. The staff is well educated. We work together to find a solution for our clients. If I can't see something, I can speak with one of the trustees. They will come in and sit down right then and there. There's always another set of eyes to help find a solution, but we really do work together for our clients.
Just call. You know, there's nothing to lose. They come in, we're going to talk to them. There's no judgment. We're just here to help. And, you know, I want people to be able to make an informed decision.